Hi and welcome to Lois and Morgana Davidson Art. It's Lois here and welcome to another experiment. Following on from Friday's video, which I'll link to in the description below, where I experimented with Van Gogh's Dusk Yellow, I decided to experiment with their other Dusk colours. But just before I get into the experimentation and the painting, I'm really thrilled to tell you that Morgana has posted a new vlog to her own YouTube channel, Morgana Rose Art and Wildlife. So please follow the link below and go over and say hi. Leave her a like and subscribe to her channel as well. And say I sent you. Leave her a comment. She's painting this beautiful autumnal scene with this really lovely wren. Plus you get to see some wonderful footage of Cuckmere Haven. Now back to my paints. They're lovely granulating colours. There's a yellow, a green, a violet and a pink. And today I'm going to paint this Heather Moorland scene. I'm using the back of an old painting. It's 11 inches by 15 inches or 28 centimetres by 38 centimetres, and it's a very lightweight £90 cold pressed Saunders Waterford cotton paper. And the idea to start with was just to splash around with the paint and play around with it and see what it does and see what happens. But I was so pleased with the experiment that I decided to turn it into this Heather Moorland painting with sheep roaming over this heather-covered hill. And I'm really pleased with the outcome and really pleased with the paints. I shall be painting this wet in wet, and I'll put details of the paints, etc. in the description below. So that's about it for the wet in wet stage, and I'm just going to leave it to dry and just see how the colours look when they dry. If we zoom in, you can see there's quite a lot of granulation happening, and I really like the way the colours are sort of blending wet in wet on the page. I think they're looking really beautiful. Of course, it will all dry back a lot lighter, but because each of these dust colours is made with a black pigment as well as a colour, there'll be quite a lot of black left on the page, and only time will tell whether or not that's going to work for me or whether I like it. So I'm going to leave it to dry completely. So here it is, the next day. The sun is bleaching the colour out a bit. It's a bit brighter than this. I'll get a better photograph for you at the end of the video, but I'm incredibly pleased. It's really beautiful. It's dried beautifully. The colours are rich and jewel-like with these wonderful tonal value shifts and beautiful granulation. And I hope you can see that I've penciled in some sheep because I feel that this really does make a wonderful sort of heather-covered hill, part of a moorland. So I'm going to use my Faber Castell waterproof fine liners, and I'm going to turn this into a line and wash painting simply by outlining and shading these sheep and then adding a little paint. Now the sheep are drawn in with the fine liner, and I'm now using a small calligraphy brush. Any small round brush with a good point will do, and I'm using a little bit of burnt sienna just to add a bit of tone to the sheep. And I think just to finish this simple painting off, a little bit more of this fine liner, just to add the suggestions of a little bit of sort of grass and shrubbery around the feet of the sheep, just to sort of bed them into the land. I could carry on and put a lot more detail into this, but I'm not going to. I'm going to leave it simple. I'm going to allow these wet in wet washes to sort of speak for themselves. So I'm going to now remove the tape and have a look at it and see how it looks. You may have noticed that there's fresh tape on it. The tape got very wet from my wet in wet wash, so I quickly retaped it while it was drying. I often do that because otherwise the wet tape can kind of make some sort of weird marks around the edge of your painting. So here it is. My burnt sienna has dried back a little bit lighter than I wanted it in my sheep. So I'm just going to add a glaze of burnt sienna, very light value, over the top of the existing pale value, and that should just darken up and add another layer, but still of transparent watercolour onto the sheep. And so that just helps to sort of bring the painting together a little bit more. And I hope you can see, if we look closely, the colours are really beautiful. This is a photograph of the colours as they really are. I managed to get a better shot when the sun stopped streaming in through my windows. I'm really pleased with the way that these colours have worked. So they are Van Gogh watercolours by Royal Talens, and I shall leave the details, as I said before, in the description below the painting. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave us a like and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. And thank you so much to everyone that supports us on Patreon and to all the new patrons. If you're interested in supporting the channel, then please follow the links to either Morgana's or my own Patreon pages, and we'd love to see you over there for more exclusive content. Thanks so much, and I'll see you again soon. Take care and happy painting. Bye.